Welcome back to the King Film Sports top upset picks for March Madness 2023. And let's get right into it. And to demonstrate my thesis for this year for these upset picks, I'm first going to start with some of the 10-7 matchups where we have some thin spreads. So in the 10-7 Missouri, Utah State, in that South region, Utah State is actually favored by 2. But to demonstrate my two factors that I am using to broadcast and figure out these picks, I am using, number one, the 3-and-D teams. 3-point percentage high and defensive efficiency high compared to the other teams. So for this, Utah State clearly has the edge over Missouri, and they're favored because of it. And then in the second matchup, Boise State has the edge by quite a large margin over Northwestern. So these are really large margins. Let's move into our most likely upset, and it's the 12-5 Drake against Miami, Florida. And this, as you can see, there's quite the differential here. Drake shoots the three well, but they're a great team at defense as well. I think that they can have a good chance to beat Miami, Florida in this game. Before I go on, I want to mention the two 11-seed matchups that are coming out of the first four. While I don't know the matchups and will not focus on them, I will say that over the past few years, an 11 seed that played in the first four has always won. Notre Dame was last year. If you may remember, they beat Alabama in that 11-6 matchup. This year they're playing Iowa State and TCU. So I think that one of those could very well win. So keep an eye on those as you fill out your bracket and as you are scouting on the first four in the first 2 days. But let's move on to the setup matchups where we've got Indiana against Kent State. And this is actually one where the logic doesn't work. So you might ask, why am I showing you this? Well, the spread is only about 5 points. A lot of people like Kent State here, so could very well happen here. Kent State played in a tough MAC championship. They don't have the marquee wins as of yet, but it would take quite the game, of course, overall. They're a little bit worse at both defensive efficiency and three-pointers, but the spread is pretty thin, so I thought I'd mention this game as it's in the same region as that Miami against Drake pick. Then we move to the bottom left region where we've got Duke against Oral Roberts. And a lot of people are buying into Duke. Some think they're underseeded here. But this Oral Roberts game is only about 6.5 point spread, which is a lot for a 12-5 matchup regardless. But Oral Roberts does have the upset history. This is going to be a trendy pick. Can't say it enough. They have the 3-and-D capability, Oral Roberts, in that one. Then the 11-6 in the same region, Kentucky against Providence. Providence is a better team offensively, so we're taking the actual offensive route for this one, and that's what we will take for the next couple for St. Mary's and Virginia as well, since these teams defend better. So we're going to look at a team that could get hot on offense and then beat one of these more defensive teams, and here is certainly an example of that, as Providence is very up and down. And the spread is only within 3 points, so I could very much see Providence winning here, but if they can get hot. St. Mary's is pretty much going to win out any metric, so I just wanted to show this graph here. Pretty much any metric you put, St. Mary's is going to be dominant, as they have a really high net rating for their seed, but VCU is only about a 3-4 point dog in this 12-5 matchup, so definitely take a look at VCU. They played in a tough A10 that might be underrated as they only got one at-large bid. So take a look at VCU in this mid-major matchup. Virginia against Furman, and this is another one of those times when, similar to St. Mary's, Virginia defends very well, but their offense can be anemic at times. They obviously lost to UMBC a few years ago, so they're definitely capable of losing in an upset. This spread is pretty tight for a 13-4, since some of these 13-4 matchups, Tennessee against Louisiana, for example, is above 10 points. This one's only 5. Look at Furman for this one if you really need an upset in this quadrant. But another one, College of Charleston against San Diego State. Again, offensively, College of Charleston has the edge. San Diego State is more of a defensive team there. Now, I just wanted to throw a little candy your guys' way for this second to last pick. This is going to be West Virginia in the second round against Alabama. And don't worry, I already checked, and West Virginia also wins the 3-and-D against Maryland to get to this matchup. But I'm just saying, if West Virginia plays Alabama, they could be a good upset pick here. And finally, if you need a 15 seed plus, I will say that on the 14 line, Montana State against Kansas State is the tightest spread, whereas Gonzaga is almost 15 or 16 points against Grand Canyon. But on the 15 line, the value's here with Marquette against Vermont. As you can see, Vermont does the 3-and-D better. Marquette is a good team that plays as a team, but Vermont has to be my 15 seed. Of course, Colgate is good at the 3 as well, but I think Texas is much stronger than Marquette. This spread is within double digits, so I could definitely see Vermont winning in, 1-5, 1-6 times. So we'll see what happens. But if you need to pick a 15 seed, I go with Vermont here after St. Peter's last year. But overall, I wouldn't pick a 15 seed because you could just have the 10 or 7 beating them in the next round and you wouldn't really lose too many points. So that's just a pro tip going into these bracket selections. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and check out the March Madness playlist for plenty more March Madness content.